This is Darren Waller. Darren Waller is one of the best tight ends in the NFL in my opinion. The dude is electric and the dude can grab any ball in the air that's thrown to him. But Darren Waller's story to the NFL is an unlikely one. He came in the NFL as a late round pick, wasn't really expected to become a star, but he had amazing upside, even though he came from a triple option offense at Georgia Tech. And then when he got in the NFL, he became addicted to drugs, but he is now one of the best tight ends in the league. This is the story of Darren Waller. To start off this story, I'm taking it all the way back to North Cobb High School in Kennesaw, Georgia, where at North Cobb High School he played both sides of the football, playing defensive back and wide receiver. Now, I cannot find any stats besides his senior stats, only on the defensive side of the ball as a defensive back. But that season, in the 2010-2011 high school football season, he had 37 total tackles, averaging 6 a game, and 1 interception. Despite Darren's insane size as a high schooler, he was not recruited very much at all. He only had one offer coming out of high school, and that was from Georgia Tech. And of course, he would commit to Georgia Tech because it was his only offer. But according to 247 Sports, in the 2011 class, he was ranked as the 901st best player in the nation, barely cracking the top 1,000, the 68th best safety in the nation, and the 69th best player coming out of the state of Georgia. When Darren Waller got to Georgia Tech, he would no longer play on the defensive side of the ball anymore. He was moved permanently to wide receiver, as that was the position that they thought he had the most potential at on their team, and he held some resemblances to another past great Georgia Tech receiver in Calvin Megatron Johnson. Darren Waller would not appear in a single game in his true freshman season in the 2011 college football season due to him redshirting. In Darren Waller's redshirt freshman season at Georgia Tech in the 2012 college football season, he would primarily be a backup, but he would play in 14 games for them. He would only have 8 receptions for 162 yards, averaging an impressive 20 yards a reception, but he would have 0 touchdowns. And although you might see that he only had 162 receiving yards, that's actually really impressive, knowing that Georgia Tech is a triple option offense, and if you know football, you know the triple option offense. That basically means you're not passing the ball very much at all, and you're running the ball probably about 75 to 80% of the time, or maybe even more depending on the team. In the 2013 college football season, Darren Waller, as a redshirt sophomore at Georgia Tech, would face some injury issues in this season. He would only appear in 9 games, but he would have the second most receiving yards on the team in just those 9 games he played in. He only had 17 receptions, however, which was double the amount of receptions he had the season prior. He had 367 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, averaging almost 22 yards per reception. That was pretty good, and he was eating up on an offense that ran the ball almost all the time. In the 2014 college football season at Georgia Tech, Darren Waller would have his best season yet, but he would still miss a couple games due to injury. In this season, he played in 10 games, had 26 receptions for 442 yards, averaging 17 yards a reception, with an impressive 6 touchdowns. After his best season at Georgia Tech, Darren Waller would declare for the 2015 NFL Draft. Going into the 2015 NFL Draft, Darren Waller was viewed as a receiver that had insane size, that could transition into a tight end one day, that had unreal speed for his size. It was noted that he used his size and had great body control when going against physically dominant defenders, and that he had good hands and he always used his length to pluck balls out of the air, and he was a natural catcher. He will go up and pull the ball down in traffic, and he can be used in 50-50 situations, and he has the toughness to fight for the position. Despite all these strengths that Darren Waller possessed, he had some major flaws in his game, such as not getting the most targets at Georgia Tech because it was a triple option offense, and how he was not a pro-ready receiver as a route runner at the time. He He was incredibly raw and was basically used as a post-up player when he was targeted, according to Bleacher Report on his draft profile. And not only that, there were questions about his work ethic, since he was suspended in the season opener in both 2013 and 2014. Darren Waller would have to wait a long time to get drafted in the 2015 NFL Draft, but he would hear his name called ultimately, with the 204th pick in the NFL Draft in the 6th round by the Baltimore Ravens. In Darren Waller's rookie season in the 2015 NFL season with the Ravens, he would only appear in the first 6 games of the season, and then he would go to injury reserve due to an injury, and he'd ultimately miss most of his rookie campaign. In the 6 games he played in, he only started in 1, and he really didn't do a lot at all. He only had 2 receptions for 18 yards, and he had 0 touchdowns. In the 2016 offseason, on July 1st, 2016, Darren Waller was suspended for the first 4 games of the 2016 NFL season for violating the substance abuse policy by the NFL. Also, in this season, the Baltimore Ravens would switch Waller's position from receiver to tight end. In the 2016 NFL season, his first season as a tight end officially, for the Ravens, he would only appear in 12 games due to his 4-game suspension in the beginning of the season, but he would start in 3 games. In this season, he would do more damage as he played more as a tight end, but he was still a backup for the Ravens. For this season, he had 10 receptions for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. But in the 2017 offseason, Darren Waller would get in trouble with the NFL yet again. On June 30th, 2017, Darren Waller was suspended for 1 year without pay for again violating the league's substance abuse policy. After his 1-year-long suspension with the NFL, Darren Waller would be back with the Baltimore Ravens, but the Ravens would cut him loose in the 2018 NFL preseason on September 1st, 2018, and he was signed to the practice squad the next day. However, he would play some NFL football in the 2018 NFL season, after he was picked up off of the Ravens practice squad by the Oakland Raiders on November 26th, 2018. In the 2018 NFL season, in the 4 games he played with the Oakland Raiders, he had 6 receptions for 75 yards and 0 touchdowns. Going into the 2019 NFL season, the Raiders would appear in Hard Knocks, and Darren Waller in an episode would detail his substance abuse issues and his struggles with it and the steps he took to overcome it. In the 2019 NFL season with the Oakland Raiders, he would appear in all 16 games and start all 16 games for the Raiders as their main tight end. And he would lead the team in receiving yards with 1,145 receiving yards, averaging about 13 yards a reception with 3 touchdowns as well. Darren Waller would also make his first ever Pro Bowl in this season. Currently in the 2020 NFL season for the Las Vegas Raiders, Darren Waller has appeared in 8 games for the Raiders, and he isn't doing as great as he was the season prior, but he's still doing pretty decent. Right now, he has 394 receiving yards as of the recording of this video, with 4 receiving touchdowns. The road to the NFL was not easy for Darren Waller, being in a scheme that did not favor receivers at all in Georgia Tech with the triple option offense. And then when he got to the NFL, he started having substance abuse problems, but he overcame that and is now one of the better tight ends in all the NFL and has even made a Pro Bowl appearance. This is the story of Darren Waller. Well guys, if you guys liked the video, remember to smash that like button, turn on them post notifications, and subscribe for more videos. B. Kelly, out.